Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that was created to inspire each and every one of you out there to play bigger in your life. I say this all the time, and I mean it. I promise you it's easier to play bigger than it is to play small, but you can't do it by yourself, and we're going to talk about that today. We also want to inspire you to be bolder, which means you are going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to do things that you're scared to do and do some things that you don't even know how to do. But again, that's one of the reasons why it's so important to surround yourself with successful, amazing people that know how to do things that you don't, so you can become the best version of you. I believe that we live in a world where there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good people don't do enough. So every episode we have an incredible guest that comes on and shares their gift. And today I'm really excited about our guest today, Miss Mary McMahon. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jen. It's always so great to be with you.
Listen, you're one of my favorite people.
You're one of my favorite
people. Serious. And you know what? You should surround yourself with great people that you love and that bring value to you. And that's one of the things you do so beautifully is you bring value to every person that you encounter, whether it's just your friendly, happy disposition, or whether it's all your knowledge, which believe me, we're going to get into. She has an incredible amount of knowledge. Or just, we met through eWomen Network, and every meeting you're giving to the foundation with some incredible gifts that you always bless us with. So I want to say thank you so much for all that you do, not just for eWomen Network Me, but for everybody that you come in contact with.
Thank you, Jen.
I mean, I'm telling you, and if you come in contact with her, you know what I'm saying. So I'm doing your work right now because I'm thinking of for you. But before we get into all your gifts and talents, I love your story. And I would love for you to just really kind of touch base on how your story has impacted you to go into your line of work, which is finance, and how it impacts how you help people.
Okay, well, I'll make it brief. So, what's so interesting about life is you've got situations come to you, and you don't always want all those situations that come to you.
Kidding.
And the reality is life doesn't go on an ascension like this to what we want. It goes like this. Mm-hmm. So my mom and dad got married in the 50s. My dad dies early, and it'll be 48 years on Sunday. And oh my gosh, my mom was widowed with 6 kids, ages 5 to 15, in an era where women were not well received in the workforce. Mm-hmm. Well, 5 girls, 1 boy at the end. And, so you learn a lot of things about life. My mom was so good about money. I was actually blessed with her gene. My mom's got a money gene, and I was blessed with that gene. And I didn't know what to do with it at first. I'm a huge advocate that people really step into their greatness as early as possible. In fact, it's been a driving force for me as a parent is to get my kids onto a path that fits them.
And that's so important. And it's something to your point, life throws curveballs at you, but when you have assistance with a parent or with a mentor or a loved one that can help you figure out a niche that you fit in, that's the important thing, because there's so many times that parents, what they want to do is they kind of want to live vicariously through their kids and say, oh gosh, I didn't get to do this, so let me help you do this because I didn't get to do it. Where that might not be where their best fit is. And that's something that you and Joe have been fabulous about, really, is helping, your child find what fits them best. So did you, I mean, at a young age, did you just know, I'm interested in money, I'm interested in creating wealth, or how did you get into that niche quickly?
It's so interesting because always loved money, not for like flashiness or anything like that. I just loved everything about what money was, what it looked like, what it felt like. And it was so much a part of me that I thought everyone was that way.
Right. Is
I
it,
I
have,
did not realize till my 20s that it was a unique gift
okay,
that I was
so
given. I
listen,
had no idea, none.
I just had a total aha moment when you said that, because I'm the same way where I'm a positive person. My dad was a professional tennis player. He just instilled that winning mindset in me, and my whole life I thought everybody was that way. And it wasn't until I left to go to college and I got around more people that I thought, well, they're not like this. I mean, I didn't even realize. So that's got to be a clue. I'm telling you, that's got to be a clue. So something that you think everybody is like, and then you realize, hold on, not only are they not like that, most people really struggle with money. They struggle.
They do. I mean, money is about emotions. It's not about what money actually is. It's about emotions. And so people either are afraid of losing it or they want more. And I remember this phrase growing up, keeping up with the Joneses.
Right, right.
And there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses these days, and it's hard.
And
There are a
don't,
lot of demands on our money today, and it's hard to know how to make the most of what you have. We have never been wealthier. Every person in this country, almost every person in this country, we have never been wealthier as a country than we are today. But we've never been in a more complex society with as many demands on our money.
so for somebody, it just at all different points in their pathway, whether it's this is a new person starting out, whether it's they're just graduating high school or they're just graduating college and they're starting a career. What's your advice to that group? And then what's your advice to people that have had more experience with money, but they're not creating wealth? They're not making the right decisions with their money. I mean, what do they do?
Well, it goes back to what you talked about, building life teams and having a really good person on your side. You mentioned about us being parents and really being an advocate for our daughter to step into who she really was. And there were some really nice surprises in there. And you need to have someone who's going to be your advocate. And that's one of the things that I love. That's my favorite part of the work that I do, is helping people, being an advocate for people, helping people step into their greatness. Money is just a tool. It's just a resource. Money is something you can generate. Money is something you want to use wisely. If you are a child, you're growing up in your home, you're learning money habits. You're learning money habits that your parents have. And that's all you learn. And you take that out into the real world, and some of it works and some of it doesn't. We all have money habits that work and don't work. And if you're high school, getting into college, always saving a portion of the money that you make. Save 10 to 20% of the money that you make. Always have money set aside for those big ticket items. Always spend money for fun. Important to do that. And you've got necessities too. You've got cell phones and cars and car insurance and those kinds of things. So really get into a habit of using your money wisely that way so you can step into doing more. If you don't get that right, you're going to have a hard time for the rest of your life.
Well, and and one of the things, before the show, we were talking about life teams. And for those of you who don't know, I facilitate a mastermind, and every month we read a book, because leaders are readers. Achievers are readers. So whether you have decided that you're going to step into this group or not, if you want to be successful, I promise you, you will step into becoming a reader. And the book that we're reading this month is Results Faster by Tony Jerry. He's here local in Dallas. He's an amazing person. Mary knows him. I know him. My husband works with him. But one of the things he talks about that we were discussing before is the concept of a life team. And basically, you don't have to know everything. And that's what your job is. I mean, Mary's job as tell them all the different certifications you have. You've got every financial license, certification, award. I mean, you as if it's out there, you got it.
Well, I am a certified financial planner, which is being trained in working with clients on a comprehensive planning basis. And planning is a service. It's not a product you buy, it's a service. I am a registered investment advisor. Certified financial planner, registered investment advisor are the two fiduciary standards in the industry, the only two. And so a fiduciary, as a fiduciary, we are ethically and legally obligated to work in your best interest. So I'm working with a client, we're working on either solving a problem today or creating an opportunity for today. And in my world, when I do my work, I'm solving problems and creating opportunities with that, solving that problem. But it's not just for today, but it's got to work next week. It's got to work next year. It's got to work 10 years from now. It's got to work to your age 95. And so that's what I am looking for is how does your money all work together for you? How can we make it work better for you? And that's the value of doing financial planning. I'm also licensed in general lines insurances, which is things like life insurance and disability and long-term care and health and those types of insurance. Super important. So I do insurances, I do investments, so I do work with product. But basically, you want to start with a strategy first. Would you buy a product and then hope it works? Or would you like to have a strategy that you can see does work and then implement that strategy with the right product at the right time in the right way? So that's the work that I do.
Right. And you know what? One of the things I think is so important. So I want to go back to this life team concept. So many times people think, oh, I just don't know anything about money. And so you steer away from it. Well, you don't have to know everything about money. You don't have to know everything about marketing. You don't have to know everything about starting a business. All you have to know is your lane, your circle, your sphere of greatness. And then you bring other people into your life, and you have to, they're the top 10 people that you need on your life team. One of those is a financial planner. It's somebody that knows what to do to help you along the way. And in this book, Tony Jerry, his formula for success is clarity, focus, and action.
Oh,
Now, I add two more components on that. And the two more is I say the right people, and then number 5 is accountability. So, in my opinion, if you want to be successful in any area of your life, you've got to have the right people with you. You don't have to know all of this. In fact, success doesn't happen alone, and that's by design. You're not supposed to know everything. And I'm so committed to helping people find the right financial person, because if they don't have that person on their life team, they never are able to create what they should be able to create with money. And listen, I mean, I understand that if you're married, you've got to consult with your spouse, you go together. But that's one of the things I loved when Dave and I went to you, is it was, you've got a whole process that you go through. And what I think, most people, in order to get clarity, you have to have a plan. And most people just start doing without the plan. And that's, the way you work with people. Explain that process, because I think that process is very, I think it's very effective, and it's an easy process to receive, I should say, to go through.
well, I definitely believe on the clarity, focus, and action, because that's how you accomplish anything in life. And so if you want to create wealth, here's one thing I want people to really know. In the United States, only 2% of our population inherits all their wealth. And typically, the great fortunes you can think of, typically those people came from hard scrabble backgrounds, or they came from very solid middle class backgrounds. And so the onus is really on all of us to create what it is that we want to have, which is why I love the concept of life teams. And what you're so brilliant at is helping people step into their greatness. I step in to help with the money. So the process, when you've got a married couple, it's so interesting because there are certain commonalities, there are certain values that brought you together. And yet you're two different personalities, and you're two different personalities around money. And so what I find when I'm working with clients is it's nice being that objective third party to help them accomplish. And so in the process, you start to see that my clients start to see that they've got all these common points, yet they're completely different personalities. And so what the planning process does is it really gets you on the same page, because you start to realize, oh, we do really think alike. But it's, how you think about it, it's what you want to talk about, it's how you language it, that's different. And so the planning process really smooths things out and really catapults and accelerates, your progress. And you know what? I'm going to say money, and then there's an S word. When you get those two things right, it really helps in a marriage.
Well, that's what I was going to say is so many couples fight over money, and they fight over money for a variety of different reasons. But one thing that I think is very beneficial that you do is at the very beginning, you have each person go through values and start to pick what is important to each person, because of course that's part of the information that you need to know to help create a plan that's going to create the financial world that you want. And it goes back again that how many times do a husband and wife, do they sit down and say, okay, let's start with our values? Now that's where you are supposed to start. I mean, that's where you start with everything. You can't even write a vision statement until you know what you value. If you don't really know clearly what you value, you're saying yes to a lot of things. You have that shiny object syndrome, where it's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, that's neat. Oh, I like that. And it's like you're so distracted.
Yeah.
But when you know what you value, it makes the answer to say yes or no a lot easier.
Yeah.
And when you sit down with your spouse and you have somebody else facilitating, listen, I even think sometimes when you don't have the knowledge that you have in money, as a parent, to even teach that to your children sometimes is a challenge, because it's that third party. You need somebody else that's going to come in and basically mediate, for a lack of better word. And that's really what you do. So, what if somebody's watching right now and they have never worked with a financial planner, or they don't even know if they've got any money that they have, just to start investing, what are some of your tips of, we can find money. I promise you.
Oh.
You can find money to start investing.
Yeah.
What's some of your tips?
Well, I want to say that most people, when we go through cash flow, I don't like the word budget. It sounds like I can't spend money. And I don't like the word diet either. It sounds like I can't eat. But I do like spending plans. So when I go through a spending plan, the cash flow plan of my clients, there's typically, for a lot of people, there's 25% of their money, they don't know where it goes. And so there's some found money right there if we can just find it.
Yeah.
But no, we do find it. And, my work is to work with someone about what matters most to you. Because money's just money. It's just like, oh, there's a car, there's a hammer. You want to have the right tool to do the right thing. Money is a tool and it's a resource. So you want to use it to do what matters most to you. You want it to align with what you do value, because that's what makes you happy.
Right.
Yeah. So, first of all, you want it, the first thing you want to do is you want to determine what your lifestyle funding needs are, and you determine that. You also want to create a financial life. And so you want to take a look at your money from a cash flow standpoint and decide how much goes into lifestyle, how much am I going to put into creating my financial life. The second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to track your lifestyle funding. You want to have a checking account and a savings account completely separate from your financial life money. So you've got a checking and or savings for your lifestyle money, separate, sacred ground. For your financial life, you want to create an account for your financial life. We name it Wealth Coordination Account. Your name, Wealth Coordination Account, WCA. That is the account that you use for your financial life. And so you separate your money. Most people make the mistake of commingling their money, hoping that everything balances out, and it rarely does. It rarely balances out. And we're all so busy.
Right, right.
So you want to, those are the first three things that you want to do. You want to track your financial life money too. So track your lifestyle money, track your financial life. Having those two separate accounts is going to allow you, they're going to be instant registers.
I love
So
that.
it makes it so easy.
Right. I love that.
Everything should be easy, and your financial life should be flexible too. The next thing you want to do is you want to realize that you don't know everything. And that's why you want to bring on a good team member, a financial professional who you can work with. And the kind of financial professional you want to have is how I created my practice. I have a private independent practice because the industry doesn't practice quite like this. My clients know they can have any financial conversation that comes to their mind anytime they want. And it may not involve buying a insurance product, or it might not involve buying an investment product, but it's a super important conversation to have to get you into the world of investing, because that's what people want to do. But that's not the first thing you do.
Yeah.
You have to take care of your money in these other ways first, so that you can have money invested, because money is a long-term proposition. Anytime you pull money out of your long-term propositions, you're just pushing out your compounding curve, and there's a point in life where you can't recover. And so, not having all your eggs in one basket is is important.
I love this.
So, and you talk about reading. Reading is so important. Reading is a habit of wealthy people. Learning, developing, growing. You want to be reading, and you want to have a good relationship with money. So many people grow up with not a good relationship with money, and they blame every problem they have in their life
Right.
on wishing they had money. And I've got news for you. We all wish we had more money. And everyone has problems with money. Depending on what problems, depending on how much money you have, the more money you have, the bigger problems you have with money too. But everyone has money issues. Everyone has money problems. Everybody wants more. And it's your job to work with someone like Jen's as part of your life team and really determine what you're so phenomenal at. We were all born with unique talents and gifts, and it's our job to use those in the world. And you need to understand how you're going to monetize that. And if you're parents to young children, your kids know what they want to be by age 7. Some of it's easy, you can put a title to it, but it's the talents and the skills, it's how they work, it's how they operate. We're all that way. That's what you want to tap into.
Right.
The sooner you can do it, the better. If you haven't done that yet in your life, you need to work with someone like Jen's and develop that, because that's how you're going to be happy.
Right.
And then we work with the money, and the money follows.
Well, I love everything that you're saying, Mary. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, I'm so excited that we are talking about money, and we're talking about the things you need to do, because number one, we talked about it's mindset.
Mindset.
It's your mindset. I mean, do you have the mindset that, you know what, it doesn't matter where you are right now in your life. You could be going helter skelter. I mean, you could think, oh my gosh, I'm in such a horrible place. But do you have the mindset that that's where you're going to stay? Or is it just, this is just a destination you're at right now? It's just a place, not a destination. And you have 100% control to turn it around. I
Yeah.
mean, what is your mindset? It doesn't really even matter what is going on with your money right now. The most important thing is your mindset, to know you are in control of your life, even if it's out of control right now. If it's out of control right now, take your life by the reins and get with some people that can help you and say, this is just where I am and I don't want to be here anymore. Number two, money. That's why we're talking about it, because anytime I work with somebody and we come to realize what it is they want to be working on. I tell everybody there's three things I do great, and that's mindset, it's leadership, and it's planning. And when I'm working with someone and they've started to get an idea of where they want to go, one of the first questions is, what is your budget? And I know you don't like that word, but what's your budget? If you are a business owner and you know that you want to do more marketing, well, you got to know how much can you afford. And I don't know about you, Mary, but I've never personally met anyone that has been able to be financially successful as an entrepreneur if they're not financially successful in their personal finances. It just doesn't work. I mean, if you don't have your financial house in order personally, I haven't been able to help somebody have their business financial house in order.
It's true. It's true. You have to have your personal world in order to devote yourself to business to make that happen. And in your business and your personal are going to dovetail
Right,
as a
exactly.
business owner. So there's no ignoring it. You have to take care of it.
So,
And everyone can do it.
everyone.
It's having that clarity and having that focus and action. And I love one of your sayings, Jens, two of them. Success happens in action. It's so true. And success happens through others. You can't do it on your own because
You don't know it
unless
all.
it's your field of expertise. I mean, if it takes me, 60 hours a week to do my work and I'm trying to catch up with my own, I have to set up appointments with my husband,
Right.
to do our work. How can you do your work, take care of your family, and think that you're going to get these other things done? It just doesn't work that way.
Well, and you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
So
And that's where you get tripped up. It's
that's
where
yes.
it's not what you know, it's what you don't even know you don't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
And and that's one thing that I don't know if y'all have this happen, but a lot of times when you're married, you have whichever one, it could be the husband, it could be the wife, but one thinks they know more about money than the other. And then the one that thinks they know all this, they don't know what they don't know. And so, it's one of those things where, just go to somebody who knows, go to somebody that has all the information, and you will, I promise you, it's like when you talk to somebody that really knows money, then you can explain what you have going on, and they'll say, "Oh, well, what you got to do is da 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 da," and then you walk out, and you're like, "Wow, I didn't know that." Right? You don't. They don't. You don't know.
Yeah.
So you've got to. So we talked about mindset. We talked about the importance of money, and then another component to me is mastery. So when you find the right person to help you with your mindset, they're going to lead you to the right people to start including into your life team. When you have somebody that is the right person that helps you with their money, you're going to create a plan and you're going to start to develop mastery. You're going to develop mindset mastery. You're going to develop money habit mastery. You're going to develop wealth creation mastery. You're going to start to develop those habits that successful people possess just because you're around other successful people that are helping you. And we'll go to that fourth M, which you touched based on, which is being able to monetize your gifts and talents because we all have them. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with someone and they are doing something, but they start to explain to me other things about their life or about their journey or what they've done and their talents. And it's so easy for an outside person to say, oh my gosh, you need to do this. You are sitting on $1 million idea, but you can't see it. But if you don't have that mindset and in the right place and you haven't started to master your money, you are behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just behind the eight ball. So, I mean, one of the things I think that is so important is that whoever you decide to go to, it's somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you connect with, and if you're listening and you say, you know what, number one, I don't even have a life team. So forget that. That's the first place you need to start. Like we're saying, having the right mindset. But if you don't have somebody that you're working with your money with regards to it, and I love what you said is, you can't just start investing. And I think that's what holds people back from going to talk to a financial expert like yourself, because they think, if I don't have all the money to invest, I can't go talk to somebody. And, you said very clearly, no, we've got to make a strategic plan so we can find that money, and that's a service, and then we can go to the next steps. So, I mean, how do you want people to reach out to you, and what is it that you can help somebody with, even with a phone call to get this ball rolling? So 2020 isn't just the beginning of a fabulous new year for you, it's the beginning of a incredible, phenomenal new decade.
Well, it's so interesting. I was at the turn of the year, I was looking at what people were saying were their 2020 financial resolutions, and this was a business show on TV, and it all had to do with cash flow and minimizing debt, eliminating debt, saving more, and people did want to invest. And here's the thing I want people to know: there are 5 domains of your money, and all 5 domains of your money have to work well. Where you start is right where you're at. It's what's on your mind, because that's what's important to you. All the work you do with a financial professional is you reach out to them and you let them know what it is that you want to work on. And it's not about what you want to work on, is actually not about buying a product. Now, there's a point where you want to buy a product because if you've got a plan, you've got to bring that plan to life. Just like if you were to build a dream home, you hire an architect, they make the plans. If you don't start buying help and products, you're never going to build the dream house. So you really want to have a conversation with a financial professional about the things that are on their mind. And that's where you want to get started. They're usually not about buying a product. Everybody wants to invest, but some people have this false notion that investing in the stock market is going to solve their money problems. And that's just not true.
Right.
It needs to happen. You do need to invest, but you need to take care of, investing is just one of those 5 domains. Cash flow is one of those domains. And so you want to have all those domains working together, because all your money is all your money.
That's true.
And it needs to all work together for you.
And I love what you just said, Mary. And I think I'm going to put this on my social media post later, which is, you start where you're at. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where you start. So it doesn't matter where you are. You just start. It's it's the journey of, what is it? The journey of 1,000,000 miles or 1,000,000 steps or whatever it is. It starts with the first step. You just start. You start right now. And, go ahead. I know you got something great to say.
Yeah, I do. I want to just say that you start where you're at. And if you get a referral to someone, you want to, first of all, write down what it is that you want. And if you're the one to reach out to that person, because most people like to do that, then have a conversation with that person. They're a human being, and just let them know what things are on your list that you want to work with. and ask them, are those the kind of things that, you might be interested in sitting down and talking with me
That's a good point. That's
about?
a really good
Because
point.
that first meeting that you spend with anyone, whether it's me or anyone, I know it's part of my process, my practice, to do a complimentary meeting, and it's to talk about what matters most to you. And that's what the first meeting is, because that's what there is to do, is to make sure what you're doing with your money actually aligns with what matters most to you.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think it's just so important. I love it that we're having this conversation. Like I said, I love it that we're doing it in January. Because, well, and it doesn't matter. It could be, you could be watching this in June. Okay. Maybe you stumbled across us and it's June. All right. It doesn't matter. You start where you are at, you start right now. And the fact is you ask yourself, am I living my best life financially? And if the answer is no, you need help. And I'm going to say you need help. If you're not working with someone, you need help. I just, it's like you go to the dentist because you have them just do a whole cleaning that there's no way you could do on yourself. There's certain things you can't do alone. You can't do them by yourselves. And, I'm sure you've got some really, I mean, for incredible stories. And I know
Yeah.
obviously you can't, because of confidentiality, you can't share everything. But, are there any stories that you could share of, I would just think that, man, once somebody gets involved with you, I mean, I know I have a personal friend that she was just like, oh my gosh, Jens, this has saved my life. I mean, it's honestly saved my life. But are there any stories you can share?
It's interesting. Last week I met with a new couple that was referred to me, and she said at the end of the meeting, she said, "Well, I'm not very good with money," and I had been with her in the whole meeting. We had a great meeting, and I just said to her, I said, "I think you're going to find that you're really great with money. I just don't think you're giving yourself the credit because you've been great this whole meeting."
Right.
And that's all it is. I have another client, just one more. Some years ago, we did some work together that she wanted to do, but the husband didn't want to do. And to this day, wherever I'm at and they're there, and she's talking to people and she's talking about me, she said she can talk to him and tell him things that I've been trying to tell him that I can't, he doesn't hear me. But when Mary talks to him, he understands it and then he does it.
Right. I know. And see,
Yeah.
that's exactly, I can relate to that because I feel like I think a lot of couples can relate to that is the dynamic, like I was saying, the dynamic, that third party person coming in. And, I'm just going to say, because I know you very well, there's going to be very few spouses, whether it's the male or female, that really is going to know more than Mary knows, or other financial planners. So when you bring them in, it is undeniable the difference between who really knows the most about money. And when you're in that environment, you can't deny it. And so there's a point, I think, where you just say, look, if you're a smart person, this person knows more. So let's just listen to this person. And that's, I think, sometimes where the friction comes with couples is,
Yeah.
it's not an any ill intent whatsoever, but if somebody in their mind thinks they know more than the other spouse, they're not going to listen to them. They're just not. I mean, and I will be transparent to say, even with parenting, if if you think you're a better parent than somebody else, than your spouse, or you think so, then their opinion doesn't hold as much weight. But you get in front of somebody that, like I said, it's undeniable, the Mary or whatever other financial planner, they know the most. And listen, you just got to do it. But you said something about this couple and I think this is probably extremely, extremely common. And you said, she said, I'm not very good with money. I think we all beat ourselves up. I'm not very good with money. I'm not very good with exercising. I'm not very good with my diet. I'm not very good with this. I think that's the mindset that a lot of people have. I'm not very good with XYZ, but it's you don't have all the right information. And if you give somebody all the right information with the right plan, you can implement and you can become very good with money.
Oh, you can become very good, and it's fun,
Right.
and you enjoy it, and it's exciting. I mean, that couple last week, I got a email from her today, and I could just tell in the email how excited she is about this whole process
So
that we're
true.
about to start.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's about mindset and it's about habits.
It
There are habits that will make you poor, and there are habits that make you rich. Like reading is one of those habits that helps you become rich.
and let me tell you, that is, we are as some of our habits. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And you mentioned the importance of starting good habits early,
Early.
and it's true. I mean, whether it's your good habits for your personal physical well-being, whether it's your finances, whether it's with your relationships, you've
Yeah.
got to start good habits early, but to the point you said earlier that I'm going to use all the time now, you just start where you are. You
Yeah.
just start where you are right now.
I think it's important to remember that all you have is today. Today's the only day you have. And so when I'm working on a few habits that I'm bringing into my world this year, I just remind myself today's the only day I have to do this. So I better do it today because I don't have tomorrow to do it.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
as we were discussing before, the tragedy with Kobe Bryant and
Oh,
his
yeah.
family and all the other incredible people that were on that helicopter, you know, they didn't know that yesterday was going to be their last day on this
Day.
earth.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think of all the time. And this, honestly, whether it's right or wrong, it's how I am. What motivates me to do a lot of things that I do is really the fact that other people I'm accountable for other people, and other people, I'm responsible for other people. And I just don't ever want to leave this earth and not have things in order. It's important. That's important to me. Whether it's my personal relationships or finances or whatever, it's important to me. And to your point, all we have is today.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
Yeah.
And we might not even have the full day. I mean, that's the truth of it. And any other tips that you think, golly, we've got to throw this last little nugget at you before we close up?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to take action with your money is to love yourself.
I love that.
And to realize that we can create any world that we want. My gosh, I mean, what happened to my mom and what happened to us after my dad passed away, we were not a wealthy family. Boy, we had to, I mean, talk about learning a work ethic.
You all had to work early, I'm
Oh,
sure.
it's so interesting. And today I look at all the things that I've learned to do and all the good habits that I've created. I noticed the bad habits that I had that
I'm trying to find out all these comments.
did
Keep
not
going.
help. But today's the day you have, and make it a great day.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's one of the things that, listen, to have success and happiness in your life, you have to love yourself and you have to surround yourself with great people. If you don't have a life team, if you haven't even started on that concept, reach out and let me know. I would love to help you with that. If you are at a place where you need help financially, I'm going to say Mary McMahon is amazing. You've seen it. She's incredible. You might know other financial planners that you feel might be a better fit. Whatever it is, just do it today. Do something today. Start scared. Do it scared. Do it when you don't want to do it. Do it anyway. And let 2020 not only be the beginning of an incredible year for you, but make it be beginning of a phenomenal decade. And so from the bottom of my heart, Mary, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And I know that you are a part of my life team and you'll be a part of my life team forever. And I thank you so much.
Jens, thank you. I love you too. It's always such a pleasure to be
Yeah,
with you.
always.
And you know, to all the viewers out there, I just want to wish you lots of great success in 2020.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't subscribed to the Jens Johnson YouTube channel, please do so. If there's anything, any topic, if you're interested in appearing on the show, or if there's just something that we can do for you, please reach out to me at jens@jensjohnson.com. And until we meet again, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye bye.